I thought I was safe at my parents' house while they were on vacation, until I heard someone unlocking the front door after midnight. The neighborhood was quiet, the kind of place where people never even locked their cars. That night, I was lying in bed scrolling my phone when I heard the unmistakable rattle of keys. Then, the slow creak of the door swinging open. At first, I thought maybe my parents came home early, but when a man's voice whispered from the hallway and another answered, my blood ran cold. Strangers. I grabbed the baseball bat my dad kept by the bed. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it shook the walls. The men moved quietly through the kitchen, opening drawers, shutting cupboards. They weren't rushing. They knew the layout of the house. I whispered into my phone as I dialed 911. "There are people in my house. Please send help." The dispatcher told me to stay hidden, but the heavy creak of the stairs told me it was already too late. The first shadow appeared on the landing. A flashlight beam cut through the dark, sweeping across the walls. I tightened my grip on the bat. When he stepped into the hallway, I swung hard. The bat cracked against his shoulder. He shouted, stumbling back, and the second man lunged forward to grab me. We collided, his weight crushing me against the wall. He growled, "Where is he?" Confused and terrified, I kicked wildly, shoving him off long enough to grab the bat again. My swing missed his head by inches, but it was enough to make him back off. The smaller man hissed, "They said he'd be here." I froze. Who were they? Who were these men looking for? The bigger one rushed me again, grabbing the bat mid-swing, twisting it out of my hands. His face was inches from mine. "We can do this the hard way." Before I could scream, pounding footsteps echoed downstairs. A voice bellowed, "Police! Put your hands up!" The men panicked. One shoved me to the floor and they bolted down the stairs, smashing through the back door as officers stormed in. Shaking, I stumbled into the hallway as cops searched the house. They found nothing stolen, no sign of forced entry. And then came the detail that chilled me more than the fight itself. The front door hadn't been broken. No locks were damaged. They had keys. And worse, when one of the officers asked if anyone else had access to the house, all I could think about was the words I'd heard upstairs. They said he'd be here. Whoever those men were, they weren't after my parents' house. They were after me. The house was silent, except for the creak of the old floorboards under my feet. Wide shot of a teenage boy with short dark hair and a pale, nervous face standing in a dim hallway, a weak lamp flickering overhead. I gripped the baseball bat tighter, sweat beading on my forehead. Close-up of the boy's trembling hands clutching the bat, his knuckles white. From the living room, I heard whispers, low, urgent voices. They were inside. POV shot from the boy's perspective, the dark living room doorway with faint, shifting shadows. I forced myself forward, heart pounding. "I know you're in here," I shouted, my voice cracking. Medium shot of the teenage boy yelling into the darkness, his shoulders tense. Silence. Then, footsteps, deliberate, coming closer. Tracking shot of heavy boots stepping across the wooden floor, approaching the boy. One of them stepped into the light. A tall man, face hidden under a hood. He laughed. Close-up of the hooded intruder smirking, towering over the teenage boy. "This is our house now, kid," he sneered. Over-the-shoulder shot from behind the boy, showing the intruder's shadow stretching across the floor. I raised the bat, my arms trembling, but ready. "Not tonight." Shot of the teenage boy lifting the bat above his shoulder, determination flickering in his eyes. The intruder lunged first. I swung with everything I had. The crack echoed through the house. Action shot, motion blur of the bat slamming into the man's arm. He staggered, cursing, dropping a crowbar to the ground. Close-up of the crowbar clattering across the hardwood floor, the boy's reflection faint in the metal. Another intruder burst in from the side, charging straight at me. Wide shot of a second masked figure rushing the teenage boy. This time, I didn't back away. I hurled the bat like a spear. Slow motion of the bat spinning end over end toward the attacker. It hit his chest with a heavy thud. He stumbled, crashing into a side table. Impact shot of the man slamming into furniture, a lamp toppling and glass shattering. The first man was already recovering. He lunged again, angrier, faster. Close-up of the hooded intruder's face, twisted in rage, rushing toward the boy. But I had one more trick. I grabbed the crowbar he'd dropped. Low-angle shot of the teenage boy snatching the crowbar from the floor, his jaw set. As he reached me, I swung upward, catching him under the chin. Cinematic slow motion of the boy striking upward with the crowbar, the intruder's head snapping back. He collapsed flat, motionless. The second intruder groaned, struggling to get up, blood on his lips. Wide shot of the teenage boy standing tall in the wrecked living room, 2 intruders down around him. My chest heaved, sweat dripping down my face, but I didn't let go of the crowbar. Close-up of the boy's determined expression, crowbar clutched tight in his hand. For the first time that night, I realized I wasn't the helpless one anymore. Final cinematic shot. The teenage boy framed against the dim light, standing victorious but shaken.